Welcome to another short 10 minutes of chat by myself. Let me see if I can just move a bit the camera like that. Yes. So in this short video, I'm going to try to speak a bit about the bloodline of Jesus Christ, the one that we understand, although there's lots of indoctrination. It's called the strand, which has to do with the DNA, and all the way to the present day. They are very hated, these people. We don't know the exact numbers, but we know a minimum and a maximum. So it's minimum 800,000 people and maximum 2 million people on Earth that share the same scientifically proven DNA as the person we know as Jesus Christ. And they are very hated by you know who. Well, let's call them the deep state. There's these posts from Q all the way back to 2017 and also 2018 and 2020 that appeared, and with a big, like a huge majority of clues. There's also the gospel, which I'm going to speak about in the future, that is very linked to Q, and also the what we understand as the Holy Bible, but in its primitive version of King James. We have to touch on that as well, from the so-called year 1611, just for us to understand a bit about history, even though we don't even know if that's the true history. But there, if if we have to say something like a year, because if not, we get lost. And it is of vital importance to understand this bloodline. I'm not going to say all the names, because I need to say some specific names historically speaking. Um, if I say them now and I don't show you anything in the video, because this is not a video, you're probably just going to call me crazy lunatic, right? So that's why I'm not going to say any name. It has to do with like a bunch of presidents, not a bunch, like the most important presidents of the USA, including Kennedy. But I rather just wait to show you the stuff, because I have to link the deep state, which is also the what I censor myself saying Zulu Janemba. And it's a lot to do with what happened in the 19th and 20th century with certain events which were very violent. We also have to speak about the 13 families, which have different names. So there's like the 13 families that you think rule the world because you have been indoctrinated to believe so. And then there's the 13 families who actually rule the world, and the names are totally different. And actually, it was shocking for me to see those names. It was the first time in my life to see them. Nothing to do with the ones that we think. So the ones that we think, which includes the famous families that we've all seen so far in many videos and well, the articles and documents across the last 20 years, they're not actually the families who rule the world. And the others who actually rule, we don't even know who they are. We know by the names now. And things go back in the 1800s. And they start from the 1800s, which is very linked to the reset and the repopulation aspect of things. So this is the awesome stuff about all these findings, that they go in hand with what I've been seeing so far in my analysis and my journey to research these things. But now you understand even more so, and also we understand the fight between good and evil, and what happened all the way from the 1800s, pretty much 1850, because the year when these 200 years of evil started, we can put them in 1830, and they should have ended in 2030, with COVID-19 being the starting point for 2020, 2030. But it was stopped, it was blocked, and the Georgia Guidestones were demolished. We can speak more about um, some vital key years from 1855 going all the way to 1912, which is the Titanic, 1913, Federal Reserve, and of course the 1917, what happened in Russia, and then just after the Second World War, 1948, 1949. But it starts in 1855 officially. And there's some drops on the internet, some messages from 2018 from Q regarding all this, and there's a very specific symbol, or well, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a symbol which can also be a tattoo. It's very important. It has a very specific letter, and once it was something new for me to understand this, because it has to do with the bloodline of what we understand as Jesus Christ, and everything is falling into place now that we know who is bad and who is good, and what families are good and what families are bad, and why he is evil against this minority of maximum 2 million people that share the blood and the DNA. That blood is very special. I'm also gonna tell you the percentages, and I'm also gonna link it to the actual tribes and families, historically speaking. Numerology is very important. So 777 and 17, and there's a bunch of people. Let's say about 15. Once you see their names and you understand then the connections in history, and everything makes sense regarding the fight that's been going on for the last 2 centuries. The blood type is very important, and these people who are part of the bloodline of Jesus Christ, um, but forget about the Christ that you've been taught in church. It has nothing to do with that. And these are just 0.36, so 0.36% of the population of the world. That's the type of blood type they have. And I'm going to give you all the percentages. So their blood type, um, uh, it's ridiculous. It's like they're a minority, and by the way, all of them are Caucasian, and it's not because I want them to be. That's the actual scientific genetic proof. And now I understand why the last battalion of Germans with their UFOs after the Second World War, they were also saying this in the news, that the UFOs only want white people with a certain DNA. Everything makes so much sense now that we interconnect the dots, but sure, it took a lot of time. I will give you the name of these people who are the last of their kind in the world to share the DNA of what we understand as the Christ. It's called the Jesus DNA, and we can also see the family tree that starts, and it's very important. So remember that the United States of America was way before what happened in Germany. We speak about the 19th century here, the 1800s, just after the reset, or just after the millennium ended and the evil 2 centuries started. Fortunately, now they're not ending evil, thanks to the what happened in the last elections, right? Fortunately for us. Um, Now we understand who is in Russia and who is in parts of Europe as well, and the interconnections of the white hat military across the world. Of course, Kennedy died at the age of 102 years in 2021. And it was shocking for me to know this. I mean, I knew he was alive after the 60s, but not that he died in 2021 at the age of 102. And even Trump specifically said publicly when one of the public well hearings that he gave to the public, and we have his son, the son of Kennedy's, was very active some years ago on the internet, and very good with good messages and good numerology, and a very awesome information and stuff, and photos, and explaining what's actually been happening in the last 2 centuries, interconnected with very key specific people in history. So that's it. I will give you photos and documents in the future videos. This was just an introduction of the bloodline, me just chatting to give you an idea of what, well, how much time it takes to research these things. Honestly, all the information was in front of our noses during a lot of time, but of course, because of first laziness, and second the misinformation we got from the news, which of course it's the fake news, like Donald Trump, the president, says, points with a finger saying you're fake news. Even I was unfortunately lost in fake news, especially with what happened in 2021 when Biden came to power. But I didn't understand in those days, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, what was happening. Now I understand, but it took me 4 or 5 years to understand. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next videos, of course, with pictures and information, and also these short chats of me just chatting a bit and giving you the information. Take care.